was apparently based on the architectural philosophies of ancient Egypt.
Most of the buildings in Washington, D.C. were created and founded by Freemasons. That was because building was their strength. They knew how to align buildings to certain patterns in the heavens. You could channel spiritual energies if your physical buildings were lined up with certain stars.
But the hidden meaning of the dollar bill goes far beyond the curiosity of the pyramid and the all-seeing eye. Even the greatest symbols of America are open to a disturbing interpretation. The eagle is regarded as the prime symbol of the American Republic. It is said to represent freedom and strength, and is the most familiar image of the Great Seal on the dollar bill. Some believe the original intention was to depict the far more sinister phoenix, with its connections, once again, to ancient Egypt.
The chaos, the phoenix arises in the land of Egypt. I think the use of the phoenix in some of the early designs for this absolutely represent the idea of the rebirth, the idea of the nation being born, rebellion, an incredibly formative time.
But the phoenix was rejected in favor of the American bald eagle.
There was a great debate amongst our founding fathers as to which bird we were going to name as our national bird. But it was always in my mind the American eagle. These are from Masonic writers. In mysticism, the eagle is a symbol of initiation. The eagle was sacred to the sun. The eagle was also represented the great Egyptian sun god Amun-Ra.
So it's proposed that the eagle is not in fact American, but instead representative of the Egyptian sun god.
So they knew that there was a connection between the sun god and the eagle, and that they would use that symbol as a symbol of the initiation into the secrets of the Masonic Lodge and also of the ancient mystery religion.
Conspiracy theorists say the stars above the eagle's head helped to prove that the Masons embedded their messages on the dollar bill.
Above the eagle's head is a cluster of stars, 13 five-pointed stars. And when you draw lines between them, you'll draw a six-pointed star.
If the star is then lifted up and placed over the image of the pyramid, it points to specific letters in the Latin inscriptions surrounding it, which are believed to be an anagram.
Inside the American dictionary is the word anagram, which is the intentional scrambling of the letters of the word to conceal the real word. So if you re-scramble, you get Mason. This is how we know that the Masons originated the drawings for the Great Seal of the United States.
This search for concealed meanings in the iconography of the dollar bill is not confined to the images alone. It is claimed that the number 13, the most feared and superstitious number of all, is hidden throughout the symbols on the $1 bill.
The Masons in 1960 issued a paper inside the New Age magazine in which they identify the number 13 and the numbers of different symbols connecting itself to 13 as being Masonic.
They point out the repetition of the symbolic number 13. There are 13 leaves on the olive branch in the right claw, 13 arrows in the left claw, 13 stars above the eagle's head, and 13 bars and stripes on the shield.
To all secret societies, the number 13 is enormously important and symbolic. The number 13 symbolizes rebirth, regeneration, and when you're birthing something, when you're bringing something into formation, it's never easy. So the number 13 can symbolize not just rebirth and regeneration, but death. Death of the old and the birth of the new.
So there's the intentional concealing of the number 13 as being Masonic letter on the back of our dollar bill.
13 is regarded as an unlucky number in many different cultures. But according to conspiracy theorists, it has much more sinister implications.
The number 13 represents the number of sin. And I think that's why the Masons reveal the number 13. And that opens up a whole can of worms.
They also believe there are other numbers embedded in the design of the Great Seal that have special significance to the Freemasons.
On the eagle side of the Great Seal of the United States, if you count the feathers, you'll notice that there are 32 feathers on the bird's left wing and 33 on his right wing.
This is believed to refer to the 33 degrees of Masonry, introduced by the Supreme Council of the Scottish Rite, America's most prominent Masons, whose national headquarters are in Washington.
The 33rd degree council that meets in Washington, D.C. claims in their literature to be the mother jurisdiction of the world, the mother council of the world. Manly P. Hall called them the most powerful organization in the land, that they ordain kings and shape the destinies of worlds. That's called
It's suggested there's one last piece of information on the dollar bill that reveals a Masonic plot. Above the eye at the apex of the pyramid, there is the inscription written which roughly translates as, "Providence has favored our undertakings." But the conspiracy theorists claim that when it's combined with the second inscription, there is a dark intent.
the Latin phrase, Annuit Septis Novos announcing the birth the New World Order will be worldwide when it's instituted in the near future.
A new world order that abolishes the government and the church as we know it. This is in stark contrast to the message above the written number of the dollar bill. In God we trust. It is predicted that this new world order will be a global phenomenon, ignoring all national boundaries and ownership of property. All traditional religions will be replaced by a new belief system, one dictated by the Masons.
The theory goes that these groups of people are intent on, in effect, ruling the world. And that inherent with the Great Seal. And the symbol of to show the way. It's an enlightenment, but only again for those who are
The evidence for hidden and possibly sinister meanings in the symbolism of the dollar bill appears to be stacking up. How can historians, and especially Freemasons, possibly explain all this away? On the face of it, the suggestion that the dollar bill conceals hidden messages seems plausible. They were supposedly inserted by a small sect of Masons who had a hand in creating first the Great Seal and later the design of the dollar bill. Freemasons themselves find the whole idea of an elaborate conspiracy just laughable.
You can also believe that Jews or Catholics or Muslims or Protestants are out to take over the world and force everyone to have their religion. And I don't believe that's true. So if anyone cares to think that the Freemasons are out there to serve themselves and themselves alone, I can't stop them, but I don't believe it.
The establishment for the last 2,000 years has been a Christian establishment. It's been an establishment where the church and state have been very closely interacted. Claims of earlier heritage, or more sacred ideals, or symbols that mean deeper things than the whole of the Christian heritage, I think that's the problem. And it strikes fear into the hearts of the establishment.
Perhaps the Freemasons have become a victim of their own secrecy. That mysteriousness has only served to fuel suspicion and the fear of the unknown.
People don't like to have symbols that they don't understand, and also that they think might be concealing important information from them. That's why I think Freemasonry has many enemies.
But what of that symbolism? Freemasons counter that much of the argument to support the Masonic influence just doesn't matter. For example, conspiracy theorists have claimed that nearly all of the men who signed the Declaration of Independence were Masons, but there's no evidence to confirm this.
56 men signed the Declaration of Independence. 9 of them can be verified to be Freemasons. And when I say they can be verified, we have actual records of them having attended the lodge, or we have a membership certificate. For the Constitution, there are 55 delegates to the Constitutional Convention in Pennsylvania. 39 delegates signed the Constitution of the United States. 11 of those 39 can be verified to be Freemasons.
It is maintained that Benjamin Franklin is the only Freemason on the committees that designed the Great Seal, with the possible exception of the artist Francis Hopkinson.
It's often claimed that Thomas Jefferson was a Freemason. The best evidence that they can offer is that the Freemasons marched in his funeral procession. Of course, every civic organization in the state of Virginia and every civic organization that could travel there marched in a funeral procession, so that's not surprising. Modern scholars have looked at the record, and it's completely lacking. When you look for the hard evidence,